All right, thank you so much for joining me today. I want you to imagine that you were given something valuable by a friend or probably a master, and you are asked to look after it until the person giving you returns. Without doubt, you know that you are responsible for that which has been committed into your hands. We live in a generation today where young people have not come to understand that God has specifically placed certain gifts and potentials in them. They go about complaining, they go about comparing themselves with people who are supposedly doing well, not realizing that there are certain gifts and potentials that has been deposited into their lives, but because they have not discovered these potentials, because they've not discovered these giftings, they feel that they are empty and there is nothing good and meaningful about their lives. But Jesus explains this idea in the parable of the talents in the book of Matthew chapter 25 verse 14 to 30. The story points out two faithful servants and one unfaithful servant. Now, the master of this servant went on a journey and he committed certain number of talents into their hands. He gave one 5 talents, he gave another 2 talents, and he gave another 1 talent. And the Bible said, according to their abilities. According to their abilities. So there are 3 things I want to draw from this passage. God gives gifts according to our abilities. God gives gifts according to our abilities. However, how great or how small the ability God has deposited in you may be, you've got to acknowledge the fact that you have a gift, you have a talent. Although the story in Matthew chapter 25 is talking about talents, talking about money, but it deals with responsibility, it deals with stewardship, it deals with faithfulness to whatever has been committed into our hands. So I'm using that to explain the fact that every one of us have been given one ability or the other. We have been given certain potentials. We have been given opportunities both to serve God and to bless humanity. But if we fail to acknowledge that we have these deposits, we have these graces deposited in us, we will continue to live our lives in ways that are not fulfilling. The mistake many people make today is comparing themselves with people. Nobody is better, nobody is greater than the other. Everyone that God created was created with certain abilities. It is left for each of us to discover that which the Creator has deposited in us, nurture it and put it to use. That is what 2 of the servants did. They acknowledged and accepted the talent and they put it to use, and at the end of the day they gained double of what was given to them. And that is what the master is looking for in every steward. The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 4 talked about the fact that stewards are expected to be found faithful. So the second thing I want to draw from the lesson is that faithfulness matters most to God. Faithfulness, not how popular a person becomes, not the greatness of the result, but how faithful are you to that gift that was committed into your hands? How faithful, how deliberate you were in putting to use that which was committed into your hand. You see, the last thing I would like to talk about is that no excuse will be tolerated. No excuse will be tolerated. Now, the third man that was given 1 talent came back to the master and told him, "Master, I know you are a hard man, reaping where you have not sown." He said, "This is the talent you gave me. I hid it so you can have it." He was thinking that the master was wicked by giving him just 1 talent. Meanwhile, the master knows the ability of individual of them. God knows your ability, He knows my ability, and that is why He gave us those things he has given us. You might be thinking that my voice is tiny, nobody will listen to it. Have you started singing? Even if it is one person that is listening to your song, what if it is just one person God wants you to bless with that gift he has given to you? Oh, you think that teaching grace that you have to teach children, you think it doesn't worth it? What if you have been called to minister to children, but because you feel it's not popular, nobody is looking at your side, you think you are not doing great? Greatness is not measured by the number of views you have in what you are doing. Greatness is not in the records that man keeps. In fact, as a matter of fact, there are many people who are doing greatly today, but they are not recognized by men, but God reckons with them. So it's not about how many things you are able to do, but how faithful. When the master of the servant came back to reward the servant, the one that produced 5 more and the one that produced 2 more were rewarded the same way. And that is to tell you that God values your faithfulness above the popularity, above the supposed success. I want you to understand that fear only causes you to hide your talent. You might be thinking, what will people say when I come out there? They will look out for my errors. They will criticize what I'm doing. They will say I'm not doing it right. Just that. You don't become perfect at the first start. You practice until you become perfect at what you are doing. And you don't need to be recognized by people before you start fulfilling. Your fulfillment does not start when people start recognizing and celebrating what you are doing. Fulfillment starts when you accept the responsibility and you start working on it, even when nobody is seeing you. Moses made that same mistake when God called him to go and deliver the Israelites in Exodus chapter 3. He told God, I'm a man of slow speech. And God said, you are capable. I am is the one sending you. I can speak through you. Forget about your limitation. The angel appeared to Gideon in Judges chapter 6. Gideon made the same mistake too. He said, I am the least in my father's house, and my father's house is the least in our lineage. But God reminded Gideon who he is. He said, you are a mighty man of valor. 2 Kings chapter 4. The widow whom the debtors were about to take his children away, said all she had was a jar of oil. And Elisha said, that is what you need. She thought it's just a little jar of oil, but said that is all you need for a start. And by the time she accepted the little thing she thought she had, and she started putting it to use, it multiplied. She cleared all her debts, and then she was able to sustain herself and her family throughout the famine. What is that little thing that you think you have that looks insignificant? God wants to make it significant. God wants to make it great. Don't hide it. God placed it there intentionally. Don't hide it. Stop hiding. Come out. Come out. Forget about the criticism. Forget about the criticism. Forget about the fact that nobody is following your page. Forget about people not recognizing and celebrating what you are doing. Start. The time is coming when people will come rushing whatever it is you are doing. John the Baptist went to the wilderness, in the bush, in the forest, and right there where he was, the whole city came to hear what he had to say. So it's not about where you think you are. There's this saying that if you miss your location, you will miss your allocation. You need to be at the right location for you to receive the allocation of heaven. So don't always think that you have to be in the limelight first. The Bible says John was in the wilderness until his days of showing forth, and he was there doing that which the Lord has commanded him to do. You think where you are is so small, nobody will think big of you. greatness starts small. He said, drops of water makes mighty ocean. So start small. Put that gift, that talent to use. Start singing, even if it is off key. Sing like that. Continue singing until your key start coming on. Sing until you start becoming better at singing. You have the grace to teach. Teach until you are a master in teaching. You are a fashion designer. Keep sewing that nonsense until it becomes sense to people. You are created wonderfully. You are fearfully and wonderfully created. So you need to accept who you are. As I conclude, Paul admonished Timothy. He said, let no man look down on your youth, but be an example. So let no one look down on you. Don't let anyone say you are too small to do this. What are you doing? It doesn't make sense. Thank them. At the moment it may not make sense, sure, but a time will come when it will make sense. Are you there? You are afraid of starting? You need to overcome your fear. God has not given you the spirit of fear, but He has given you the spirit of power, love, and sound mind. So don't be afraid of starting small. Only be afraid of not starting at all, because you will not get anywhere if you don't start. I pray for you that as you start small, the Lord will take you to that height that He has destined for you, in the name of Jesus. Thank you for listening, and God bless you.